ideas. One of the stories like days of digital learning in Uganda post pandemic. You know how the COVID time, when COVID was on, how schools switched to online learning and that stuff. So my criteria for this story was the relevance, its relevance, because many schools in Uganda had shifted to online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the topic continues to have a lasting impact. This story that I the topic is ongoing, especially with the global trend of digital interaction in education. Guys, sorry about my voice. Let me hope you guys can hear me well.
You can use this as an excuse and say you can't share.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
You can use it
It's okay.
All right.
you can say you
So
can't
this
share what.
story, it affects students, teachers, and families across Uganda because it connects with a wide audience. Those are the students, parents, and educators. But highlight that shift changed the education landscape because before this online learning wasn't like so, it wasn't known. It was used by few guys, especially for meetings. So after the pandemic, it became like a routine, like we are doing right now. So that's why I chose that topic. That was one of my story ideas. Then the second one, I chose the youth entrepreneurship, Uganda's future innovators. And the criteria was its uniqueness. If you're to realize, there is a growing trend of young entrepreneurs in Uganda who create like innovative solutions to local problems. So the impact of this
Wanda,
story, it highlights
have you
young
closed?
innovators that
No,
can inspire more people
it's
to
on.
pursue entrepreneurial paths. It has a positive narrative, and this story, it has like a positive impact because it talks about, it brings out the success of young people through the businesses they've created and so on. So I chose it because with Uganda being one of the youngest nations in the world, stories of
Those
the
sound
youth
like DJ.
lead initiatives can spark interest and show potential for future economic growth. That's why I just one about climate
What's the point?
smallholder farmers in Uganda,
Do you have a
and
specific
the
point?
criteria was its urgent
I shared
how
a
climate
link into a
Oh,
call.
is pressing global issue and those farmers in Uganda,
What of
it
your
makes them
drawing? She said.
vulnerable to environmental
I
changes.
think those guys have not
And
seen
this
us.
topic, this story
I
has
highly doubt it.
it has a local impact.
Because the Kathy I know,
Remember,
she would not
agriculture
join
is the key
TikTok.
But the
industry
issue
in
meaning that need to
Uganda.
join the class.
So this story would resonate with a large segment of the
She was
population.
serious, but they were watching
This
from
topic allows like a multifaceted approach, looking at the economic, social, and environmental
Yeah, I
impact.
have
So
it.
I
I'm
chose
just
this
typing
as
now.
my third idea, story idea, because the agriculture sector is vital to Uganda's economy and climate changes poses real threats. So the story can explore both challenges and potential solutions, making it engaging and informative. Those are my story ideas that I got, the three of them.
It's complicated.
Thank you.
Okay, Winnie, thank you very much for those story
Still,
ideas,
it's not
explaining
true.
in
Does her
detail why you
storyboard.
chose them.
no.
I
I
want to
think
believe
Reset
that
Junior
I think you also
allows
made, because the other part of the task of
said
the
something
assignment
about
is what
it
makes up
being
what are
verbal
the qualities of a
first.
good story, why
Then the rest
you
can happen
innovate it,
later.
and I think you're explaining that in the criteria that you were saying.
Does it work?
You were saying solution oriented, highlights challenges, also addressing local solutions. So yeah, any feedback or comments on what
And
Winnie
then
has
I'm also
shared?
putting on our audio.
And just resend me the whatever maybe.
The link. No, that's the
All
issue. Let
right,
me see if I can
thank you,
save from
Winnie.
this
Let's
laptop.
have the next person.
What was the task leader? to come up with how to come up with good story ideas.
Do we have anyone else, or it's only Winnie who did research on this? Okay, I think I'm going to take this as no one else took time. Were the instructions not clear? Is there anyone who didn't know what was supposed to do? Yes, get ready.
I think you're using the old one, that's why you weren't joining.
I used the second one. I just don't know. But let's try again.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Those
You
ones are
unmute and
old.
share.
Hello. On the assignment you gave, how to generate good story ideas. Here I can talk about
You guys think are good.
the most important element of newsworthiness is whether or not the news item being
You can hear from there?
the proximity, the
Oh shit. God. This is what I hate the most about sharing screen.
Is he sharing a screen?
No.
proximity is important. Then timeliness. News consumers expect timely information.
I think we have to
Then there is prominence, conflict, human interest. Those are the things needed on how generating a news story ideas. But I could not get any idea about the news.
I'm about to put this phone down.
Okay, any of those points that you've mentioned, I see you explain any of them. You just mentioned points of interest. What about them?
Proximity here, we are talking about the most important people in the and then conflict. Maybe let's say there is like an accident.
Are you sure? Are you sure of what you're saying when it comes even to conflict, or you're just patching words together? Because that's not like a proper explanation for conflict. I can see you got points, but you may need to do more research on what actually those points mean. Each of them.
That was me.
Yeah.
There is no harm in saying that some of these points maybe I need to do further research so that we can have well-guided discussions. But thank you for coming up with those points.
Okay.
So I saw.
I will do further research.
Okay. Winnie, your hand is up. You have a question?
I wanted to help her on the qualities that she was trying to talk about, but it's okay.
No, you can go ahead and explain if you can. Then we have Louis.
Just I had a few qualities of a good story idea.
Story ideas first.
And I had one of them as the relevancy. The story idea should be timely and significant to the target audience, addressing issues, events, or trends that are current, especially important things, important events, the current issues. And then the second one I had was uniqueness. The story idea should offer a fresh angle or perspective, setting it apart from other stories. Then I had clarity. The idea should be clear, focused, and easy to understand with a well-defined main point or theme. And for the conflict part that she was trying to talk about, a good story idea often involves some form of conflict, tension, or challenge, which makes it more engaging. I don't know if I'm clear there. Then I also had human interest. The story idea should evoke emotions, empathy, or curiosity and connect with the audience on the personal level. So those are the 5 qualities that I found out and made research on. So I was trying to explain Gertrude's point for conflict or tension. Let me hope we all have understood it.
Story.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, when you choose a story like these things for me,
Okay, thank you.
Story impactful
If there are any questions, you can mention. I think they were clear. Yes, Louis.
Oh, yes, before, a very good afternoon. Before going to my points anyway, I would like Winnie maybe to explain more about the human interest, the story of human interest. Can she kindly elaborate more to make me at least understand? Thank you.
The human interest quality, as I said, the story, it should how should I bring it out? But it should evoke emotions, the empathy or curiosity, and connect with the audience on the personal level. Like, I don't know how to bring this out because I'm used to speaking local languages, so I don't know how I'm going to bring this out. But
please feel free to speak in any language that will help you bring your point well.
All right. So if you've got many stories, okay. Okay, let me try to bring it out. Then I think I'll come in after the next person. Okay, let me come back with a clear explanation for that.
Okay, Gloria, do you want to explain something? I saw you raise your hand.
Yes, sir. I would like to explain to you what human interest is. So, Louis, for example, let me give an example. Let me give an example. Okay, first of all, human interest. What people really want, like what interests so much. If something is to happen in Uganda, maybe there is war, and there is war in Israel, like most Ugandans will be interested in what is happening in Uganda than what is happening in Israel. So for them, most of them it doesn't matter what is happening out there. So they want what is home, like something home based. I don't know if that is how we do it, but that is according to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Gloria. I think I've understood. So, back to my points now. On my points that I made research on. First of all, I made research on the proximity. Yeah. The proximity, I will explain proximity by saying that how adjacent is the story to your locality. Yeah. For example, how close are you to the story? If there is an accident, that I always give an example of UCU and Makerere. Yeah. If there is something that happened in Makerere, is it of interest? Yeah. Is it of interest? Because something may happen at UCU, for example. You find that there is the runways of UCU, and then you find that there is a strike happening at Makerere. There is a strike happening. You find that there is a strike happening at Makerere. So, which story will you go with? Which story will you go with? Will you go with the one Makerere or you go with the one of UCU? So that's how close you are to the story. Then the other thing also about the impact of the story, how impactful is it to you or to the viewers or the listeners? Impactful, yeah. Is it impactful? So, for example, if there is something that has happened, like I don't know how I can bring it clear. I can bring it clear, like the impact, like is it because I will mix it up with the interest here. Like, is it like the impact of it to where your audience are? Like, for example, does it affect your audience in one way or the other? For like we see that in 2021 there was is it 2021? Yes, actually it was 2020. There was a strike when Bobby Wine was denied to go to Luwuka. We see that people after hearing the news, people were striking, and the strike impacted because it affected a lot of people. Others positively, but more so negatively because people's business were affected. So that is one way, and then timeliness. Also, that it depends. That timeliness is like
Accept defeat before it begins to
the currency of the story. How current? I'll not have interest because I need to read something new, like new as today or now. Yeah, I will need to say something that is new, not something because they said that yesterday news is not news. So happiness is a when tell a story or in my story preparation. Yeah, I think that's all. Those are the three things that I took a research on, a clear research on. Maybe if there is someone with an inquiry on it, I can still explain. Thank you very much. A very good afternoon.
Yes, Louis, thank you for that research. I think you've also explained well your points, that point of proximity. And also this is is dependent on context. For example, now like as a student, if you're going to write about something, of course, if something that's happened around you, so you consider that far before the material one, which may require you to travel there or even getting sources there, which may be more difficult. But of course, when you're probably now like hired, you can work on any story if it's even going to be funded, as long as it incorporates some aspects again of still good story ideas, like the impact that it will have, if there's human interest, will it evoke emotion? Yeah, but those are well explained points. Before Catherine comes in, Winnie, you still have something to explain?
Yeah.
About the human interest point.
Yes, go ahead quickly, then we can have Catherine.
So this quality in a story, it focuses on the personal aspect that connects with the audience, because it emphasizes how events, issues, or experiences affect individuals or communities. So drawing out emotions like empathy, joy, sadness, or inspirations, that's the outcome of the stories that are got yet. So these stories, they show the human side of a broader issue, making them more relatable and engaging. For example, like now, a story about a community affected by a flood. So that story might focus on a family who has lost like their home but work together to rebuild it, and then by sharing their challenges and resilience and acts of kindness from their neighbors who are also affected, and like that helped them to rebuild their home. The story highlights the human spirit in overcoming adversity. So this angle resonates with the readers as it provides a personal connection to a larger extent. So it's just humanity, I should say.
Human interest.
Thank you.
Issue based. I'm seeing here human interest. Community hero. Issue based.
Catherine, for that, Winnie, for that explanation. I want to believe now this aspect is clearer to everyone. Let's have Catherine.
You can think that it's easy to think of an idea, but the sections of that story is what disturbs most.
What should I say?
Catherine, are you still there? I think Catherine said she's with Favor. I think she has gone off. Louis, your hand is still up. You still have a question or something?
Yes, I have a question, sir. I would like, or if there is someone there, to briefly explain about the conflict, because now it seems I'm confused somehow, somewhere. If there is someone who knows what conflict is about conflict, then I'll be the happiest this afternoon. Thank you.
What should I talk about?
Anyone who wants to
which one?
explain what conflict is when it comes to
Which
story
category is issue
ideas?
based? Event coverage, issue based, or human interest?
Yes, Fortunate.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, conflict, in my opinion, for example, in generating good story ideas, I think is when you are able to introduce, let me say, the main character's goal or compelling tension or emotional reasoning. That's like when a character is bringing out some sort of behavior, like they are relating to some chain of behavior, and that's how you're able to exhibit it. Conflict is your ability to bring out that compelling tension, characters, behavior, and stuff like that, and the way they, I don't know if you're understanding me or I'm confusing either more, but it's that the main character's goal and compelling tension, in my opinion.
Yes. Okay, let's hear from other people as well. Thank you, Fortunate. Yes, Gadi.
You have to.
For conflict, to me, I have like two aspects under conflict. There is tension. Now, tension. To me, I put it together with controversy. Like if there is tension, the idea or the audience can really get attracted to it more. Just like there is, like in Bukide, most of their news talks about what? Conflict, tension, family issues and stuff. So that it attracts.
She has failed to connect from that side.
Because the echoes, so if I talk, I can't hear. And when I come closer, my internet gets. So I just have to.
That I put under conflict, it really sums up the idea of the story being good.
Thank you. I think that's also another good explanation. Thank you, Gadi. Let's hear from Damian, Gloria, and then also Winnie.
Okay, thank you. Briefly, I want to explain to my friend Louis about conflict. To me, I understand conflict as the obstacles or challenges that hinder characters' progressive goals. We have two types. We have types of conflicts where we have internal conflict versus themselves. For example, characters struggling with addiction. We have another type of conflict as external conflict, where character versus environment and other circumstances. For example, character dealing with a difficult boss or colleagues, character facing a natural disaster. We have another type of conflict as a societal conflict, where you have character versus societal norms or expectations. For example, character challenging social injustice, character dealing with the government or authority opposition. Another one, we have existential conflict, which involves character versus fate or destiny. For example, character searching for their life's experience, and among others. So that's what I know about conflict. Thank you.
Thank you, Damian. And of course, the art of how to put this and communicate this in your story in a creative ways. Again, another skill when you combine art of storytelling and all these different components. This is really what makes your story really, really good. Thank you, Damian. Yes, Gloria?
Louis, let me tell you what conflict means. Sorry for lying about human interest. I thought I was talking about from the other point. Sorry. So let me tell you now about conflict. Okay, something that is spoiled. Let me give it in a simple way. I'm not going to give you data. Let me just give it as people are going to understand. If I lie, the teacher will judge. So, something that is poverty. You heard some time back when this guy, Kanari Mugume, when they had issues with the wife, you saw the way, like people have that, like they're interested in things that are spoiled. They're interested in things that they feel, like they feel this is something that is bringing tension, something that is bringing, like you saw the way it was trending everywhere. Like people were like, "Hey, what happened?" Like people want to know. Others were happy, others were sad. So that, according to me, like conflict, just like something that people want to hear. That is really like invokes that emotions. Maybe, like for example, maybe if something, maybe it's even war. By the way, war is also a conflict. They hear war, maybe there is an outbreak of war in Masaka. Those kind of things. Let me hope you've understood. That is it.
Yes, I think this goes on to further explain what Damian said. So, conflict within the story helps to bring that intrigue within the story. Whether it's within yourself, if a character has conflict with himself, maybe they're trying to beat an addiction or something, or even the environment, just like Damian. If there's conflict maybe with a neighbor, with the family, so how you creatively bring that in the story helps to make it more captivating for people. So, yeah. Yes, Winnie?
Damian said it's a conflict can be internal, external, or both at the same time. Just what I can say in terms of a story idea, why conflict is a quality in story ideas. It makes a story, it adds drama and interest to the story. So this drama makes the story more compelling as readers become invested in how the conflict will be resolved, how did it end, it makes a story interesting. So I think whatever Gloria and Damian had said, it brings out all this that I'm also adding on. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope now it's clear. Louis, I saw you put a reaction of your thumbs up. I want to believe it's clear.
It's clear, sir. Thank you.
My phone has died.
This is mine.
Okay.
I mean, your
I think it was Gadi next. See your hand is up.
use my phone. Supposed to work and this supposed to.
Yes.
Similar password.
Let me give you the password.
These are.
Okay, let me
This was my research.
myself.
For conflict, I've already talked about it, so I'll talk about something else. First of all, I'll talk about uniqueness of the story. When a story is unique or it's original, it has a higher chance of being sold out more, or the audience gets attracted to it more. Like if a story is new and it is there is an example of let me say if the disease such as monkeypox has spread all over the country and a person writes about it, it will have an idea of being sold more because it is more unique than chickenpox or malaria or something like that. And also uniqueness, I also want to talk about the angle of the story. Does the story offer a new perspective or twist?
Can you help me with you?
Let me say, if there are elections going to happen, and then there is a new presidential candidate that is going to be added onto the
since I'm the class rep recording the class, I don't have to be
ballot papers late. So that one also it adds a twist or a new angle. X is used to what? To blow. Also there is also another one under there's also the idea of timeliness that Louis talked about.
My friend.
The story has to be current. If it's old, it makes no news. Like if it's if it's up to date, it sells more. Also, there is local interest. Does the story affect or interest the local people? Now, like I said earlier about Bukele TV, not all people of the high class will have time to come and watch what Bukele TV. Like let me say it's called Gatani Konfo. Yes. Mainly the lower class are the ones that always have interest in such news, conflict, family issues, those low cases. So mainly, also a journalist has to cater for the local community, and also there's the aspect of impact.
Like maybe next week.
The story must have consequences. Does the story have a consequence, either positive or negative? Now, like there is this thing where people are saying they are going to march the parliament, and that. So many people were saying on their platforms that yes, on this day we shall go and march. But on that day, since people saw that and they brought the army and all those security people that they were on the roadside and at the parliament, on the actual day for going to march, people didn't go because they knew the effect was going to be solid or sincere. And also there is human interest. There's a story involves characters or emotions of the people. If you like the story, you must make sure it captures the attention of the people that are going to read it. The audience has to connect with your story. If you're aiming at making a person cry, the person should cry. If you're making the person laugh, the person should laugh. So with all that, that sums up having a good aspect of that, having good story ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gadi. I think these are again well explained points. But we don't need to repeat everything we've mentioned: uniqueness, impact, human interest. Again, further to what has already been discussed. Thank you. Let's have Fortunate.
Haven't I just got the whole work from Mr.
Okay. So I'm going to go through how to generate good story ideas. The first one I have is use writing prompts. One should be able to utilize or explore words or phrases that enhance your imagination. So while trying to generate a good story idea, you should be able to select words or phrases and develop your story. So for example, you select a word, it should be able to give you, more and more ideas. You know how like in an exam and you're writing and a point leads to another, exactly in the same way. You're able to choose vocabulary that will help you enhance your imagination and give you a perfect view of what you want. Another thing we should consider is exploring real life. For example, we can generate stories from personal experiences, news stories, historic events for the inspiration, yeah? So if in case I'm to write a story on mental health, let me say, maybe I'm writing, okay, let me just say I have an issue, maybe undergoing depression and what, I can write a story on mental health because that has been my personal experience. Or maybe domestic violence or good things that happen. You may have travel, you want to write a story on travel, so yeah, you can generate a story from your experience or from historical events. Like you can sit down and generate a story from the 1900 Uganda agreement. I know people have covered a lot on it, but you can look for your own angle by doing research. Yeah, you can always look for that inspiration. Then mind mapping, create a visual representation of themes or concepts to expand on initial thoughts. Like, just have something visual. Create, let me say, like a storyboard, and then just see, have your theme, have your concepts. You can even put images to help you have a bigger and wider vision of what you want and to expand on your initial thoughts. Because when you put up something, you keep on you keep on having an idea and a bigger picture of what you actually want. People like, oh, this is missing, that is missing. If you mind map, then you can also practice free writing, where you write extensively for a given period on a certain topic without restricting yourself. Like, I'm not saying for a full day, but like you just sit down and write on a given topic. You keep writing without limiting yourself. That helps you unlock your creativity and develop a very, very good story, because the more you write, the more ideas you generate, and the better things will be for you, because you have a wide scope to pick from. That's what I had for you.
Thank you, Fortunate. I think those points are again well explained. In case you have any questions, feel free to raise. I think, Louis, I saw your hand up. Did you have a question earlier?
Oh yes, I had a question, and I posted in the platform where the messages goes. I wanted just to get a difference between impact and the uniqueness of the new story, because the two are confusing me terribly. Thank you.
Because these guys and they started talking about how
Okay,
to get a
I
good
see Damian, your hand is up.
What's
Yes,
the
Damian.
storyboard? And that's what they've been talking about, personal experience,
Uh,
a bit of history.
I wanted to explain briefly about Louis' question about the difference between uniqueness and impact. The way I understand uniqueness, it refers to the quality of being one kind or distinct from others, and then impact just refers to the effect or influence that something has on people or events, and it could be even situations. That's what about it.
Okay, thank you. I see put hands up, meaning it's clear. Catherine, your hand is up again. You have any question or addition? Oh, sorry, you hadn't yet shared. Catherine, I can't hear you. You unmute, but you're not saying anything.
The mic has a problem.
And the mic has one. Because she tried to speak from here.
Okay, let's have Sylvia, then Vera.
Good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me?
Good afternoon, we can hear you well.
I'm going to first talk about the quality of a good story. A good story should be brief. Like, if over-exaggerate the writing, at times the readers tend to lose interest. So it should not be extensive, like for very many words. A good story should be clear with vocabulary, because if often is a good writer, they tend to use words that some people who are just learning how to read and write don't get. So if you're writing something like a new story, yes?
No, your points are okay. I was very particular on story ideas, okay? How to come up with a good story idea. Qualities of a story may be interrelated, but I was saying how to come up with good ideas for a story that you want to publish.
So now, how to generate a good
Should I raise my
clear?
Necessary result? Yeah. Like, now I'm studying on that, how to generate a good story idea. Are you guys hearing?
Yes, please proceed.
One should first do some research about what he or she is willing to write about, because at times we want to write something but we don't have much, as in we can't express ourselves, so we first do research about it and approach the people who have written more and
ask them about what we want to write about. Like, if I want to write about politics, I should approach one of the members of parliament and ask them about what it really happens in the politics industry. And you should also think of the characters that you want to include in your story. Not bumping into people, writing people's names, that thing, asking for their consent. And I think from now that's all.
Thank you, Sylvia. Any questions or? Yes, Fortunate, is your hand up a question?
No, I just wanted to ask if later on I could add something on the key aspects when generating good story ideas. I thought you were only looking at the qualities and how to generate. That's why I didn't present them, so I didn't know.
Okay, let's hear from Vera.
Good afternoon, everyone. So according to my research on how to generate good story ideas, we all know that when generating a good story idea, it requires a mixture of like creativity, curiosity, and awareness of the audience's interest, right? So the following.
Maybe I should disconnect and reconnect.
How many times would you be in the class again?
Man, I'm so sorry and ashamed.
There is also the same problem. My mic is off again.
Just a minute of this. When I think I should just present with your phone. You see? Now it's now completely down. It's connecting.
I think we just present with my phone.
Because now I'm really so ashamed of.
No internet connection. Even me, I've lost. It's hopeless I lose internet connection right now. And then I didn't load data. Oh God. This man is going to hate me.
What is this?
The ad room is on. It's just that saying there is no internet.
As in?
I don't know. It's back somehow.
You're in?
Ashram, I'm using a different link again. You go. At this point, I'm also going to just now give up.
Now who is going to let you in?
No, since it's on my phone, I'll just enter again.
Unique and very interesting, and then emotional connection, stories that evoke emotions, whether it's joy, sadness, anger, or inspiration, that tends to resonate more with readers or viewers. Sorry, coming back to the example of the benefits of walking, people will be like, how come the walking is too tiresome? Why should we walk? And with this our roads, there's a lot of dust. Like people are they are having that emotion of nah, I don't feel like I can't walk, I need to use a bike or I need to use a taxi or what. Yeah, it just brings out the emotions of people. Like make sure the story brings out the emotions. If it's time, if your story is about okay, I'm trying to come up with an example. If you're writing they hardly feed, they hardly get clothes enough. I mean, clothes to wear, shelter. They don't have, like, you need to bring the emotions of the people, of the audience, where the people that you're writing the story to. And then lastly, we have visual or multimedia potential. Like, okay, it says consider whether the story has good visual elements or multimedia aspects like photos, videos, or interactive features which can enhance engagement. Like when writing your story, make sure that you have some clips or videos or some pictures that will attract the audience, that will make the audience, your audience, to be engaging, to engage in what you are talking about, or to feel, to see or like feel the story more. Because when you can't, okay, when you, okay, sometimes you can be hearing something and you like try to imagine how the situation is, because now you can't see what you're trying to hear, but you are feeling the emotions. But now here you have to add the videos, the clips, so that you can show them more what is happening. If your story is about street children, you need to show how the children are on the streets. Others, they're having torn clothes. Others, they are so thin, they're unhealthy and all that. And also you need to show, to bring up the picture of some of the street children are like, most of them, they're into drugs, what. You just try to put pictures that will make the audience also engaging. Yeah, so that's all that I have for this presentation. Thank you. And also, sorry, I wanted to say one story idea, to just give one story idea. Yeah, so I had one story idea of the rising popularity of thrifting. So the angle can be I investigate why second-hand shopping is becoming more popular in my area, from fashion to furniture. And then I gave out, like, okay, I don't know how to say it, but the reasons why it works. Yeah. So my reasons, like, I should do research, like I need to do more research on how this my story, how it works, this rising of popularity of thrifting. So I need to say how I'm really struggling to explain this point. But okay, that is a story idea that I had. So okay, my execution is to, like, I will take photos of thrift store interiors, interview shoppers, you get, and then capture a video of thrift haul showing you the unique or valuable items found at those shops, at the local shops. Yeah, thank you. Anyone with any question? My network.
No, we can hear you. Does anyone have any question for Favor?
I beg she repeats the last bit of it, because I didn't get it at all.
Okay. The last bit I was saying, I was giving a story idea of the rising popularity of thrifting. Yeah, that's a story idea, like, whereby I will take pictures of thrift stores, like these local shops that sell second-handed clothes, just these cheap things. Yeah, I take pictures, I interview the shoppers, I take some videos, and then, like, I just come up with a story idea, a story about that. Yeah, that was the last thing that I said.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Favor, anyone else with a question? Louis, you have a question? I see your hand is up.
General, mine is not a question, but it's addition on some of the points raised. People have talked of timeliness or whatever and so on. Let me talk about the prominence. Yeah, here in a prominence, I consider like the prominence of the individual or the personality or the character involved in the news story. Here I will say, for example, if there was an involvement of an accident and it involves some, God forbid, and it involves some few students like 2 or 3 of UCU plus 1 of the lecturer, or ideally they would not consider these students because they are not known. Yeah, they will consider, they will just see if the news is to come out, they would say one of the lecturer to UCU was involved in an accident and some 2 students, however popular they are at the campus. Okay, then because anyway, it is because the lecturer seems to be more popular than any other person in the story. That's why we see this, that whenever there is a strike, like recently we see that Bobby Wine was involved in a shoot, like whereby he was, I call it, he was banged by a tear gas canister, which people ideally took it to be a shot. Okay, however much other people may be there and they were injured, but they were not looked on to because of their prominence. They are not more prominent than this many person who is the Bobby Wine, and people look at till now. They still at times talk about this story, leaving alone the other people because of the prominence. Generally, that is what I wanted to raise. Thank you very much. Have a very good evening.
Thank you, Louis. Yes, Sulfine.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I wanted to talk about exploring the character traits, and when you're coming up with a good story idea, for you to come up with a good story idea, you need to know what exactly is surrounding you, what is happening in your community, and that is exploring the current events, being up to date. When you're up to date, you know what to write about, and you can still go back to the history and get to know what you can bring from the past to enlighten the people. Then you also have to research. You cannot just write something that you have not researched about. So to come up with a good story idea, you have to have all the steps on the tips of your fingers. That's all.
You are right.
Thank you, Sal.
What is he saying?
Yes, just gone off.
Okay, I saw Gloria's hand up. Gloria, are you still sharing? Yes.
I've not yet presented mine. So I'm waiting for my turn.
Yes, I'm saying you can go ahead and share yours.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about focus on when generating good story ideas. The first, the audience. So before generating a good story idea, I think you should know the kind of audience the kind of audience you're going to deal with. What are their interests? What resonates with them emotionally? And then another thing, the plot. You should have a clear structure of your story. That is the beginning, the middle, and the end. A clear structure. That is where when our storyboard comes in.
Whose work is that?
A storyboard will help you know that this I'm starting with this and I'm ending with this. I need this and that.
Mr. Samakula.
And then the originality.
redo it.
Be unique. Be unique. Be you. Be original. Okay, I'm saying be original. Okay, be you. Be you. Yeah. Okay, no one is fake, I know, but be you. Don't go and copy like what others are already sharing. Have your own ideas.
we didn't register
Just like when you are given
in this previous
coursework,
lecture.
you're not going instead of going to copy and paste, put it in the words that
Even
you
yesterday,
think
I didn't
you
register.
understand,
Mr.
not
Achai, did you register yesterday?
getting because you want to scare the lecturer that you know terms, so you can and you paste and copy. So you simplify it by breaking it down. So you have to be original, like just be unique, create your own ideas, your unique ideas. Then another thing, wait, I think conflict was already said, yeah, and I explained that also. That is what I had. Thank you.
That's worth paying. And I don't make money.
Thank you. Beba, you have a question?
No, sorry. Catherine wants to use my phone because she has been having difficulties using her microphone.
Oh yes, Catherine, your hand was already raised. Let's have Catherine and then Kimikisa after.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, I managed to get aspects to focus on when generating good story ideas. So, when generating good story ideas, especially in journalism, we have several aspects to consider. One, let's talk about relevancy and timeliness. We have to focus on current events, focus on events that are trending, that will cause discussions among people, that will raise discussions and bring about people's opinions, and then focus also on future trends, anticipate upcoming topics or issues that will be significant soon. Then the other aspect will be audience interest. In most cases, ought to focus on what people are interested in most. People are interested in conflicts, that's number one. Conflicts, like it can be about a popular person or political wise. They can be, these conflicts may be like maybe the president, a specific political party in power against the opposition. And then you should also focus on a unique angle. Unique angles, like you can choose a topic which is common, very common, that will catch people's attention. Find a fresh angle or viewpoint to make your story stand out. You can also look out on stories, especially on Twitter, that are underreported, or sometimes across different media channels that are underreported. And pick out information that you think is valid, relevant, and great, and it's reliable, and then you write. The other aspect could be, conflict or tension. Create a topic that will create tension among people and force them to create different opinions and challenge you, or in most cases, cause conflict across different media channels. I think these things, we always see people bringing up topics on Twitter. Someone brings up a topic, and then people are concerned. People giving their opinions. And the other aspect would be significance or impact. How impactful is it? Is it negative or positive impact that your topic is raising? And then significance may be why it matters, why the topic matters. Ensure the story addresses why readers should care about the issue or how it impacts on them. You can also focus on broader implications, like highlight the larger effects of a local issue or event on a wider audience. And then the story potential also matters. How potential is your story? The characters and the voices you're using in the story. Does the story have compelling characters or diverse voices that can add depth or richness? And then the visuals and data you also use matters. That includes
That's also inclusive in the story potential. The visuals and data are the strong visual, may include strong visual or data elements that can support the story and make it more engaging. Then the ethical considerations also matter when choosing a good story to write about. To like handle sensitive topics, e.g., trauma, identity, or political issues with care and ethical responsibility. I also managed to generate some information on how to generate good story ideas, like follow current trends, look for gaps here. I mean, identify stories that are missing or underreported still, focus on human interest, solve problems, aim at writing well solving problems, think about issues your audience finance, education, or relationships. Then ask questions. Question conventional wisdom or dig deeper into common beliefs. Why are things done in a certain manner? What if things were different? This approach can lead to investigative or in-depth reporting of stories. Then pay attention to your surroundings. Observe what's happening in your community, workplace, or daily life. Sometimes seemingly ordinary events can spark great stories well explored from the right angle. That can create depth like within your story. You can be diverse in writing. And then you can also focus on repurposing old stories such that you can have what to write on. Like take a fresh look at old stories, historical events, and find ways to make them relevant to today's context, like how relevant they are to today's context, especially political ones. Then use writing prompts. If you're stuck, writing prompts can help kickstart your creativity. Start with a simple prompt and see where it takes you. And then lastly, you can interview experts. Talking to experts or people that have unique experiences can help you write heavy stories that are actually attention catching to your audience. Thank you so much. That was my presentation.
Thank you, Catherine. Again, well elaborated points, I believe. Some had already been mentioned, but even your further explanation of them, I think, has been well articulate. Madun, do you have a question?
No, I wanted just to supplement.
Yes, please supplement. Then we can have Rusty.
Yeah, somewhere she has talked about timeliness, so I want to just highlight something about it. Timeliness, we have it under timeliness. We have current and relevant, of which this involves reporting on issues that are timely and of immediate interest to the audience. Also have regular updates, which provides updates as new information becomes available to keep the audience informed. Therefore, I think by incorporating timeliness as an idea in a story, it helps young journalists, or not even young journalists, but it helps journalists to produce content that is not only informative and engaging, but also trustworthy and professionally presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Damian. Yes, Rusty.
Good afternoon to everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Good afternoon, we can hear you well.
I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And present to you my research according to how I understood the question. Are you able to see it?
Yes, we do. Yes, we can. Is there any way you can tell some of the people in your background to reduce the noise if you have any control over that?
I'm seeing it.
Have a look at this.
Okay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, please, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so that's my first slide. It says generating story ideas. Then the next slide is all about definition of a story idea, which refers to a concept that serves as the foundation for narrative. It's a set from which a plot, characters, setting, and themes can grow. And story ideas often outline a key conflict, situation, or character motivation that can be developed into a full story. Story ideas are usually brief, flexible, allowing the writer to explore various directions while building the story. My next slide is all talking about how to generate story ideas. And my first thing is asking yourself a what if question. For example, what if humans could speak with animals? Or what if humans could read each other's hearts? What could happen? Also, prompts and writing challenges. Can see my explanation. Use prompts or writing challenges because these writing prompts offer endless suggestions. Dream or daydreams. Sometimes your anxious mind can offer unique ideas, and also one can record anything interesting, any interesting dream or the dreams that might serve as story seed. Matchup of stories. The explanation is there. Combine two or more different existing stories and see what happens next when you mix a fantasy world with a setting. The next one is random word generator. I think Fortunate talked about this one. Use a random word generator to create a list of words, then try to craft a story around them. And also explore themes. Think of a broad theme like betrayal, love, revenge, hypocrisy, among others, and brainstorm scenarios that could fit that theme. My next slide is all about what we focus on when generating stories. Character development, conflict, setting, theme, plot structure, emotions, voice and style. As you can see how I explained, character development, for example, create compelling characters with clear motivations. The conflict, establish the central conflicts that drive the plot and challenge characters, whether internal or external. Then the setting, I explained it as develop a rich world or something immersive that complements the story and influence characters' actions. Then the theme, identify the underlying themes that resonate with the audience, providing depth to the narrative. Plot structure, outline a strong beginning, middle, and end, integrating twists and pacing that keep readers engaged. On this plot structure, you can't start with the end, so you have to be, how can I say it? You have to be, I say it punctual. But that is it. Then emotions, evoke. Another to mean evoke is to bring to mind feelings in your readers through relatable situations, character struggles and resolutions. And voice and style, establish a distinctive narrative voice that enhances the story's tone and atmosphere. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Rusty. Thank you for the good efforts in coming up with something big as well to explain your research. I really appreciate your time taken to organize this and also research and come up with the points. Any questions or supplements for Mr. as presented? All right. Yes, Damian.
She has talked about big factor development. I understand like a process of creating and revealing character traits. Here I can understand it as aspects whereby
Damian, just a minute.
maybe
Damian, just a minute. Rest, please mute. We're getting a lot of feedback. Yes, Damian?
yeah, Charles talked about character development, and they will understand it as a process of creating and revealing character traits or characteristics to make your story engaging. And this character development, we consider aspects like actually where we ask motivations, where we ask questions like what drives your characters, what are their goals or desires and fears. We may also ask questions about the background. What is your story? What is your character's story? How did you become the person that they are today? And we may also ask another question in the character development, that what are your character's traits or values and beliefs as a personality, or even a conflict as a story that you can ask under character development. How do your characters respond to challenges or conflicts?
Yes, thank you. I think that adds more perspective, and for those who had that it was not so clear for, I hope that brings more clarity. Thank you very much, Damian. Let's have next someone who has a chat presented. I think I see from the list here Winfred, Grace. Okay, let's have Ashaba, Damian, and then Kemuel.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing fine. So I made some research, and for the qualities of a good story idea, I have the following. Like, one should be willing to explore new concepts and question assumptions. This opens up a wider range of possibilities. This is curiosity and open-minded. One should be open-minded and curious to know what he or she is going to do. Second, observation is another quality. One should pay attention to the world around him or her, including trends, human behavior, and everyday problems. Great ideas often come from observing small details. Another quality is brainstorming without judgment. When generating ideas, one should avoid judging them too quickly. Write down every thought, no matter how impractical it seems. One shouldn't judge things. Like, sometimes you might see something and be like, this won't make a good story idea, but you never know, it might work out. So another quality is divergent and convergent thinking. First, think broadly by generating many ideas, then focus on refining the best ones. And lastly, collaboration and feedback. One should share their ideas with others to get fresh perspectives. This often leads to refining or expanding your conceptions. Thank you, that's all I had.
She wants me to help her
Thank you,
edit
Ashaba.
the work since she
Again,
didn't
very
have
well
a
articulated points.
She wants to put in pictures and attachments for
Research.
Mr.
Any questions for Ashaba? Comments or supplements? All right, let's have Damian, then Kemuel, Grace, then Patience.
Greetings to all. How the question is how to generate a good story idea. This statement simply means that you can come up with a good story ideas by asking creative questions, thinking about interesting characters, exploring technique settings, and considering conflicts or problems they might face. To begin with, I'll start with my point about mind mapping. Mind mapping simply means a visual brainstorming technique that is used to generate or organize ideas for storytelling. This one, mind mapping, is used to create a mind map story, a mind map starting with a central idea and branch out to related themes, characters, or plots. This should be a general character or settings.
That's why I'm asking
I think I will it very well.
Let's go to your email and
My second point about music and art. This involves listening to music or look at artwork that resonates with yours. This can evoke emotions that translate into stories. There's also inspiration from real life. Look at historical events, current news, or personal experiences to spark ideas. And also look at character prompts. This create interesting characters with unique traits or backgrounds, and think about what challenges they might face. So that's about my research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Damian. I think you bring also some interesting perspectives there. Maybe drawing inspiration from like music, poetry, again, ideas. Like many of you have been saying, unique ideas are always important. So where you can draw inspiration from, maybe things that have been underreported on, again, always are very welcome as long as they are within moral grounds and respectful in good journalistic guidelines. Thank you. I think it was Grace next. Then Kemuel.
You have enough blood for them to take.
Good afternoon. I'll be talking about how to generate good story ideas. So for the first one, how you can generate a good story idea, you can start with what if questions. This can be done, for example, by asking provocative what if questions, because these questions can help to spark imagination in your mind, so it can inspire you to write and generate a good story. An example of these questions can be what if animals could talk to humans, or what if you woke up one day and could not remember like the last 3 years of your life. Like having those wild imaginations can spark a good story idea in your mind, and you can write about it, and this can interest the people who are to read it. You can also generate another good story idea by drawing from personal experiences. Like if you've gone through probably a traumatic experience or something that has impacted your life, you can draw a good story idea from it, because many good stories come from personal experiences or even emotions, like depending on how you feel in that moment. If you're sad about something or if you're happy about something, one can think about moments in their life that were meaningful or like made a transformation in their life, and they can find out how they can be fictionalized or expanded into a story.
That's why I was asking you.
You can also, another way to generate a good story idea is by reading and researching. For example, reading books, or watching movies, or exploring other media for inspiration. For example, like in movies, you can pay attention to like an interesting character that has caught your attention. Maybe there's something they did in the movie that inspires you to write about it, or a theme in the movie, and this can help form a foundation for your own story idea. This can help, and you can therefore generate a good story idea. Then you can also generate other good story ideas by observing people and places. You can, for example, pay attention to your surroundings, like what activities going on in your surroundings, or different things people do, or you can observe how people interact with each other, or imagine their backstories, and this can help you, and this can help provide you with a good story idea, because everyday life can provide a rich material for storytelling. You can write your story based on someone else's. You can write a story about someone else, and like get ideas from just observing someone else's life. Then you can also practice free writing. For example, like you can take some time off your day and write, like, without worrying if the story, if what you're writing makes sense, because in this process, like, there are ideas that come into your mind, and if you let your mind wander freely, you can generate very good ideas that can help you generate a very good story. That was my research. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Again, very well articulated points. I think it had also been mentioned earlier, but you have explained it further. Observing surroundings, everywhere, every minute, there's a story everywhere you are looking. It's just that maybe sometimes you don't look through it deeply enough to see, but there's a story idea everywhere, in your hostel, in your class, in your family. So being very keen and intentional about thinking what you can write about on every situation is also good.
You can't open it.
Yeah, thank you. Let's have Kemuel.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my research on this topic kind of line similar to Grace. From what I've seen, when generating good story ideas, it's usually great to have a jumping off point that you're familiar with. When you're coming up with a new story idea, instead of talking about, let's say, Uganda's foreign policy with China, maybe you can come up with something that you have some kind of interest or familiarity with. Maybe the curriculum of the Ugandan education system, something like that. And by doing this, you're able to enrich the story you'll eventually write. Something else that I came across in the research was that even when you're writing a story, be aware of the stories that can come from that. For example, you come to UCU looking into the graduation ceremony, what goes on, and then you stumble upon maybe a story about like corruption in exchange for degrees, something like that. So by always being open to the information you're receiving in the process of research of a story, you can stumble into like additional sources and ideas for a story. Yeah, that's what I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Kemuel. I want to just draw context to your first point on, yes, it's very important to be knowledgeable, have a good hint, but again, also another good aspect of a good journalism is your ability to research. Okay, so yes, you could not have a lot of information, but also if you have good research skills, even on the web, or even if you have through contacts on how you can get some more well-informed content on something that you want to publish about, that is also welcome. Just to ask, did we last semester when we were looking at media literacy, did we have any session on how to search the internet effectively? I think we did, right? Hello? Did we have a session on how to effectively search the internet? Last semester?
Yes, we did.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Kemuel. I also want to ask, there are people I've not yet seen in class this semester, people like King. I think we had someone called King last semester. Okitoy, Angela, I haven't yet seen them. Did they report? Are those people on semester?
I know Angelina has been unwell for some time now, and she's kind of just recovering. She reported over the weekend, so I'm not sure about King, but I know about Angela.
What of anyone has any information on King? Did King report? These are like 4 classes now, and I haven't yet seen any of them. And yet we have attendance and participation marks, and we don't want people to be left behind. If there are any particular reasons, please let them get in touch with me. Grace, you have a question or supplement?
Should I bring a
No, I don't, sorry.
Okay. Yes, Patience?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, how to generate good story ideas. My first point is consider who your target audience is and what themes or elements resonate with them. Think about what will resonate with your audience and provoke their interest. 2, reflect on cultural and social issues that could add depth and relevance to your story. Explore like current events, look at the news articles or any trending topics. Emotional engagement. You can talk about controversy. It evokes strong emotions, making stories more relatable and impactful. Readers are more often drawn to stories that challenge their beliefs or provoke thought. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Precious. I think I also like that aspect of culture and social aspects, because people, again, that's one area people are very affectionate about their cultures or social norms or something. So even in those lines, you could be able to find a good story angle or story idea that you can generate from. Okay, who hasn't yet spoken? I think Wanda, do you have anything to share?
Good afternoon. And concerning a good story and its basis, for me, I think all of us can recall from Mr. Simakula's lesson last semester. I think a good story should be based on the impact on your audience specifically. A story should not, you should not write a story that is, let me say, concerning things in America, yet the people here are suffering from something different. Yes, they will read the story, but they will not be that much attentive to it because it does not affect them personally. So it's best to write a story, let me say, of an accident that happened in your country or in a certain district close to you, rather than writing a story that's far off from you. And also, it would be best to write a story that is impactful to your audience, not a story that's just for fun or just meaningless. Because most people want to read a story or want to get in touch with a story that is that can change their, let me say, their life setting or their economic challenges, rather than reading a story that's they're going to spend money buying your story or your newspaper, let's say, and nothing changes in their lives. Yeah, that's all I had.
Thank you. So there is this point that many of us have been raising, proximity, which is very okay. Always publish issues around that are near, that are affecting, but it's also not wrong to publish for issues that are maybe like in America, because first of all, we are publishing this. I hope when we are thinking of these story ideas and everything, we know that we're going to publish these things online, on the web, where content is accessible globally. So there's nothing that is stopping you from publishing on what is happening in America. If you're able to do your research, contextualize information very well and publish on it, then it's very okay, because the web is global. Access to information is global. All these technologies, all these platforms, like when you publish on your website, and anyone across the world can be able to access it. But yes, issues that are primarily affecting things in your proximity is also very okay. But I don't want you to feel like you cannot publish on anything in Kazakhstan or in Russia or in Iceland, because the internet is global. And today, with the information access and research being that how engaged, the way that it has been now made easier for research on any topic, you are free to publish about anything. But of course, when you're starting out and now to get well grounded in storytelling and writing, it's always important to begin by writing things that are within your proximity. Then further, as you're able to gain, as you're gaining more skills in research and competence, then you can now dwell into even cross-border issues in Kenya, Tanzania, Benin, anything. Yeah, because now technology and these platforms has made it possible for you to reach audiences globally. I hope it's clear, Wanda, and the rest of us who are raising that.
This is all of it. Infected children.
Is it clear, Christopher?
Yes.
Okay, I think I saw Sylvia's hand up.
I don't know that's what he has talked about.
Okay, so what I wanted to add is that proximity, what our meaning is, like if you are a TikToker and you're followed by majority, if many of your followers are Ugandans, it is not that you don't publish or you don't talk about things outside Uganda, but you bring Ugandan issues as the main issue and the other ones come in late.
Yeah, again, very good. But I think doing all are okay. Okay, I just didn't want it to seem like, because I totally understand where you're coming from, but it was going to come seeming that when you publish about anything that's happening in Italy, then you're not a good journalist or anything. So I just wanted to remove that cloud of that you cannot publish on anything around your surrounding. That is not true. You can publish as long as you're well grounded, have your research supporting media, maybe you can get videos and anything that make your story rich, then that is very okay. Yes, Gertrude?
All right. May I just have something like a question? I've seen these key factors here: proximity, prominence, and my friends have explained well about them. Then I've now got to know about how to generate that idea. Now, what is the difference between that and storyboard?
Who wants to help answer that question from Gertrude? What's the difference between a story idea and a storyboard?
Let me answer, sure.
Yes, Christopher?
For me, I believe a storyboard will be a layout for the story idea. Well, a story idea majorly it's like you come up with a picture of what the story is supposed to look like, how it's supposed to flow, and what it concerns. But the storyboard is a script for the story idea. I think I just confused that guy.
Thank you. Is that clear, or anyone else wants to add on to that?
Yes, I didn't delete it.
Yes, so a storyboard is basically like the plan. You plan for the story. How we saw last week, where you plan for your story, the different parts of the story, where you're going to add images, where you're going to interview, things like that. Whereas the story idea is the story itself. Like you're thinking of what am I going to write about, and then after you establish that, then that's when your story idea your storyboard comes in place. After you've got the story idea, or even the story, you can call it the story or the story idea. Then you come up. Then the storyboard helps you to how to plan that story well to be published. Is it clear, Gertrude?
Yeah, very clear.
Okay. Any other questions or supplements from what we have looked at today? Did Maria attend from anyone's account there as well? Let me see her, so don't see her on the call. Maria, the class rep. Okay. All right. Thank you for your research, coming up with those points. I want to believe on that background, when we reach the point of now publishing articles and stuff, we are doing it from a good informed point of view. I want to see when we now reach into the business of publishing, I want to see this into application. Are your articles, are your story ideas solution oriented? Are they of human interest? Are you building characters? Okay. So yes, please, again, I would like to emphasize, develop your storytelling. Read as much as possible. In your free time, write about anything passionately. Develop the art of storytelling. Yes, today there's a lot of AI and everything. And by the way, when it comes to the assignment of publishing your articles, I know AI is used a lot today. I am not against AI, but when we reach the point of the assignment, when I tell you to publish articles on particular story ideas, I will expect that there will be no use of AI generating that story. One, because I want to see you develop your natural storytelling, but I'm not saying I'm against use of AI. I don't want you to get me wrongly, but for these particular assignments on stories, crafting stories, I would expect you to build them on your own. And please do not attempt to use AI, because I will know. I have this technology that detects AI. Even if you humanize your content as much as possible, I will know. As you can see, I'm definitely sure many points that have been raised today were AI generated, which is okay. AI is there to enable research and everything, but there are certain areas where I know I don't want you to over heavily rely on it in the beginning. Okay? So for your research and anything, I'm not against it. I know all of us are using AI, so but particular aspects, please be ready, especially when we're doing the articles. I will expect you to generate stories from your creativity, because I want to see how best you can build your storytelling abilities. Like I said, please do not attempt, because I will know. And however much you try to convince me that it is not AI, there are systems in place to detect AI generated work. Okay, so next Thursday, Thursday, we are going to be looking at new media and the new news consumer. I'm mentioning it again, new media and the new news consumer. Get time? I hope you've written that or something. I will mention it again. New media thinking and the new news consumer. Get time? Read about it, do some research, so that we have an idea when we come for the next class.
New media and what?
Is that clear?
New news consumers.
New media and the new news consumer. Any questions as we end today's session? All right, thank you for good research, and let's meet on Thursday morning. Have a good day.
This girl should come back and help me.
Who?
Maria, because I can't hold this. This guy complains if you don't put the link on. He's always on Yoki. Mr. Tomuni, he called me when I was taking a bath to complain about the link. He said, no, I cannot handle this. The link for tomorrow. Yeah, I had to come to school. The link for the morning online class we have with you. Because that time Maria's phone, I think, had just been stolen. Sweet. You have to make sure that the space is not that. No, sorry. It's later, huh? When you say it. So if this that you're telling me is on the pie chart, then it's best if the pie chart remains under all this, because I'll be changing some work that's not.
Scroll over, see the space. The space is big, and this one is big.
History.